Paul's excited.
Yeah. I'm excited about this one. Hey, listen, we was the only team that gave Philadelphia scared in the playoffs. So adding D. Adams, I like that move.
French, huh?
Cooper pretty much didn't give us nothing in that game. I mean, he wasn't even targeted, and I don't know how they fell off. But I like the fact that the defense is going to be a year better. We got the best quarterback, and the best coach in the division. I mean, look.
No,
this is the move right here.
They gave Philadelphia some money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a tough, Sean McVay, he got some things up his sleeve. I really like this.
No, they beat.
I think they won. I think they winning so far.
Yeah, they
winning the NFC?
They winning the off season right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, it's bringing Stafford back in there.
Yeah, bringing Stafford.
But what kind of impact will he have with the Rams, Key?
I think it'll be similar to Cooper Kupp, right? I mean, it'll be similar. A healthy Cooper Kupp, because you're getting a healthy Davante Adams. Cooper Kupp's been banged up the last couple of years, so it kind of fell out of favor with Sean McVay, and Puka kind of took over that number one role, even though Cooper Kupp was a Triple Crown winner in this situation. But I think the injuries caught up to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Davante Adams hasn't been an often injured player at all. I mean, he had the I don't feel good hamstring, the Raiders to get traded to the Jets, and then the next game he was able to play. So I think he gives a little bit of an impact there, brings some leadership, some natural leadership. He's at home back in California, although he's from Northern Cal, but he's back in California. They'll be able to utilize him, move him around with some of the same things that they did with Cooper Kupp, Michael, when they start to condense their splits down. He can motion out. They can line him up on the outside, inside. I mean, it's a beautiful fit. Right. It really is.
And it makes them better. I love Cooper Kupp and everything that he offered, but it makes them better. And I'll tell you why I say it makes them better. Matthew Stafford and Coach McVay, they like to play now an inside-out game, but they play an inside-out game because they really didn't have the beast outside. Puka goes outside and becomes a beast.
Yeah.
But he's very well, he played well on the inside. Now you got Davante Adams, who can play on the inside, but can go outside and be another beast. You just open up this football field in a great way. So now I can use them both in the slots and move them around. I can take them both outside and move them around. Yeah, and Matthew Stafford would go up the field with the football. When I think about Davante Adams, how blessed is he? He went from Aaron Rodgers to his college quarterback, Derek Carr, now to Matthew Stafford. Two of those guys are bona fide, sure, no doubt, Hall of Famers. Then I was saying, man, he is lucky to play with them. And I was thinking about the guys my guy here play with. Call off some of them. He has two Hall of Famers in there. Call off your name. Who have you had at quarterback?
We have to keep some time.
We don't even know them right now. We don't.
How many did you have? 17, 19?
I think it's
19.
19
dude, this dude here.
Something like that.
That's a blessing, man. I think he'll help.
Yeah, I could.
It'll be great.
Some of these dudes die and go to heaven and don't even understand it on the football field. They can't even believe. When you think about it. At the quarterback. You go from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. When you went to the Raiders, you became an instant all-pro because your guy was there. Yeah. Now you just land right in Matthew Stafford. Right. But not only do you land with Matthew Stafford.
Favor isn't fair.
But not only did he land with Matthew Stafford.
Great offense head coach.
He landed with Sean McVay.
Right.
A real offensive-minded coach. Not none of these fake offensive-minded coaches that we keep anointing as, he's such a great... No, Sean McVay can really dial it up.
Right. Yeah, I love this for the Rams and Davante. Sean McVay is brilliant. They're going to be able to have a lot of really interesting things available to them with Davante and Puka and the other guys that they can move around. It's a great place for Davante to end up. Great culture, space he can end his career and be with a team that is actually contending. So I love it for both sides. I love it for Matthew Stafford also, giving Matthew Stafford, as he is getting older in age as well, another veteran player, a very smart player, somebody who has played alongside greats, who knows what to do. So I think this is a great situation. I'm with Paul. I don't know if I could say that they're going to win the NFC, but they certainly. I'm always on the Rams. I think people overlook the Rams every single year, and sometimes they go through a little patch of injuries, they start struggling, and everyone writes them off. But when you look around the division and you look at who they're going to contend with in the division, obviously San Francisco is always going to be there because they're well coached and have a lot of talent as well. But they have the best quarterback in the division, and they were in a position to compete last year. I think this only makes them better.
No, look. against Philadelphia, if the center gets his block, we're not watching the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. It's either going to be Washington and the Rams, one of those two. But because the center made the wrong turn, it just kind of went a different way.
Yeah.
And if one little mistake they clean up, we're looking at the Rams and going, oh, my God, this is a team that was under 500 at the first 6-7 games of the season, and then all of a sudden turned into something different.
They could just stay healthy. That was their problem last year, their health. So,
yeah.
And a young defense.
Well, let's talk about my Steelers. Pittsburgh has been at the center of free agency rumor mill, and they've started making moves. They traded for DK Metcalf, the former Seahawks wide receiver, had asked permission to seek a trade, and Pittsburgh got it done for a 2025 second-round pick. So, Michael, how much better does DK Metcalf make my Steelers?
Well, first we got to settle on the quarterback. But then first all this, I thought, this is a lot of duplication. You know what I mean? Because DK's a big guy, but he runs up the field. George Pickens, big guy, and kind of runs up the field. And when I was at the Combine with DK, one of the issues that made him a second-round draft pick was his ability to transition. That means get in and out of cuts. DK, like me, and like he was too, with long striders. Speed is a derivative of stride frequency and stride length. And when you're a receiver, you want contact because you got to make ground contact to cut. He's really gotten good at changing his strides to make that ground contact and come out of cuts. As I thought about, these guys are doubling up on the ability, big guys outside running deep. But I thought, okay, he's a second rounder. We've been talking about George Pickens maturing. This is a perfect example. Watch this dude.
Yeah.
Watch this dude here. Watch this second-round dude, this other second-round dude who's now getting paid $30-something million a year. You can become this. We've been doing everything in Pittsburgh. They've been doing everything to mature him and bring him along to make him a number one receiver. This might be the best thing. Let's make him make you a number two and let you watch a number one, and then we'll talk next year about trying to help you get to that place. I do like this deal from that perspective.
I think it depends on which quarterback they commit to also, but I do think DK is great for them. I mean, they needed a go-to guy, and as much as we all like the talent that Pickens has, he's been up and down emotionally, and he's had some issues really locking in. So I think this gives him an opportunity to be pushed a little bit by somebody who will probably step in and immediately be the number one target, and maybe,
Right, when you said push, George, think about this. We talked about George not picking up that block sometimes, right? You saw this dude run a dude down after an interception that nobody thought the dude was gone. Buda Baker was gone. And that joker went and got him. That kind of energy, that kind of effort is effective and rubs off on other players.
I don't know how much he helps them, to be honest with you, because I don't know what the passing game is going to be. I understand helping somebody mature, becoming a locker room guy and all that. That's cool. But what is the passing game going to be like with Arthur Smith and what, like you said, Joy, who's throwing it? Where's the quarterback?
Well, Russ, if it ends up being Russ, he played with Russ for 3 years.
No, I understand.
So they have familiarity.
I understand they got some familiarity, but it's all about the system, the formations, the eye candy. What are we doing? Are we going to line up with 2 and 3 tight ends? I mean, what are we doing? And I think the one thing they need to fix is their running game for explosive runs.
I agree with you. I think they have a nice running game, but it needs to be really aggressive, and it needs to set the tone for the offense, particularly when you're talking about having Russ or Aaron Rodgers if it ends up being Aaron as well, because he's not moving around. So if you can have for both of them, it would supplement what they're doing at this point in their career to have a running back or a running game that is picking those yards up and not putting all the pressure to have Russ throw this moon ball every single time as the only option to have explosive plays.
And when you talk about George Pickens and you talk about his ability to certain, he's eligible for an extension.
Yeah, I understand. Right. But they're saying
he's eligible for an extension.
Yeah, but they're looking
how that's
at that
going to go
next
over
year
well
after they get
you telling me
this year.
next year.
Yeah, but they're not going. You think they're going to extend him now? They're trying to find out what they have with him still.
Mike,
you know what I mean? Maturity-wise, all the way around.
From a mental standpoint,
and if
he's thinking about his money.
I understand.
He ain't thinking about next year.
But if he tanks now because I signed him.
Come on, Paul.
If he tanks now.
At 9 o'clock
Right.
East Coast time. And whenever it started 12 noon East Coast time, he looking at the ticker too.
Whenever you eligible to get some money, you think
I'm just saying, Michael.
But how does he look at that, I think, determines what he is. I want him to look at this as a great opportunity. I would be so happy that a guy just came in and got $30 million, and I'm gonna have an opportunity to compete with him. He's a second rounder. I see me doing that next year.
But do you think, by any stretch of imagination, he looking at this and going, "Oh, well, I'll be happy to move from number 2 to number 2 from number 1. Oh, because I need to mature."
Well, I mean,
looking at it that way.
It might help him.
No, we think it's gonna help him. Do he think it's going to help him?
He should if he understands how this works. DK is going to take attention away from him.
And how many times have we set up on these shows and talked about George Pickens' ability to understand something? Think about it.
Well, look, life comes at you fast, so he's there. And if he is going to be the number 1 receiver, which we would assume that he will be, because that's what they're probably bringing him in to do, and certainly what they're paying him to do.
Oh, yeah,
and this gives
doubt.
George Pickens an opportunity to get the second best coverage and opportunities that DK is going to go make some plays.
Go make some plays and deserve and show the
And DK is going to show up. DK is going to show up with energy. DK is going to do the work. So the contrast of that is going to be much more obvious if you're not doing it.
But I think it's only a great move if you bring back Russ. Like, I don't know. Like, you got to be able to get him the ball. I mean, they have somewhat of a chemistry. They played a few seasons together. And I think that's I like the move. I understand where they're going, but does it really move the needle?
And
for Pittsburgh.
See, Russ for me, this issue. Russ for me, I lose a great big portion of the football field in the middle of the field. Russ is smaller. Those guys come with their hands up. Russ can't even see that area. I can't work. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers can still manipulate that area and still control that area with movement because he's bringing that Sean McVay offense over. And I hope if they get Aaron Rodgers that they let him incorporate some things to help that offense, to bring that explosiveness to that offense. I know you keep using the word explosive, run game, but they need explosiveness in every aspect.
Yeah, but when have you ever
the only
seen...
explosiveness they had was the moon ball to George Pickens.
And that was the only explosiveness they had in Atlanta with Arthur Smith, as well as in Tennessee with Arthur Smith. But they also had a run game with a dude named Derrick Henry in Tennessee.
But Arthur Smith, and I'm with you on that, and you're right about that, but Arthur Smith is going to look at, I got Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to work with Aaron Rodgers. He ain't going to look at Russ like, I got Aaron Rodgers. You just Russell Wilson, do what I tell you. But Aaron Rodgers, he going to let Aaron Rodgers have some input.
But here we go again.
Aaron Rodgers going to get
some input. Here we go again, though. He's going to let Aaron Rodgers have some input. That ain't what Joy want. She don't want Aaron Rodgers doing anything with input.
She wants it on the football field.
What he's comfortable
on the football field.
Yeah, that's it.
Just don't get no input on the media.
I don't want to hear about scheduling. I don't want to know about vacations. I don't want to know about releasing your energy and through teas. None of that.
Talk to me about getting first downs and touchdowns. That's it.
But then when you start opening that up to allow him to do, I'm just saying, you just be careful.
Yeah.
You be careful.
He has to find him. Hackett is gone. He has to find him another dude now.
Yeah.
He can't use Hackett anymore.
No, Hackett going with him.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.